Hello everyone, this is Yatnesh and welcome to Digit. On our channel, we have reviewed RTX 4050 laptops, RTX 3050 laptops with 6GB VRAM and also one of the most affordable RTX 4060 laptops as well. But until now, we haven't had the chance to see the RTX 4060 in action with the Intel 14th Gen, and that too in the brand new Lenovo Legion 5i. So let's see what all is good, what all is bad, and let's start with the review. Now with this laptop, you get a 230-watt charger and a 3-pin power cable. Now the good thing over here is that this plug is not the big one, which refuses to fit in most sockets. Anyone who owns a Dell G15 can probably relate to this because Dell ships the same with their laptop. So you are getting this laptop right now on Lenovo's website for around rupees 1.38 lakhs. And in terms of specs, you are getting an Nvidia RTX 4060 GPU with 140W TGP and Intel Core i7-14650HX 14th Gen and a 165Hz refresh rate and more. Chalo, firstly, let's check out this laptop's design and build quality. The 16-inch Lenovo Legion 5i looks more like a stealthy machine instead of a full-on gaming laptop. You can see the subtle Legion branding on top of the lid and the Lenovo branding on the deck area, and there's also a bit of a small Legion branding below the screen as well. In terms of weight, the laptop weighs around 2.3 kg, which is good for a 16-inch laptop. At this weight, it is lighter than the HP Omen with RTX 4060 and also lighter than the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16. The size of the charging brick is also relatively small, which you can easily put it in your backpack. So what we are looking at over here is a more portable gaming laptop than its competitors. Lekin haan, it is worth noting that this laptop is competing with the HP Omen 16 and the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16. But this thing has the best of both worlds. For example, for the price of HP Omen 16, the Legion 5i is offering a QHD display while Omen only offers an FHD panel. Meanwhile, the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16 is straight up more expensive than this thing, but it has a brighter screen and 14700HX CPU, which has more cores. So, does the Lenovo Legion has any answer to that? Well, keep watching the review to find that out. In terms of specifications, you are getting an Intel Core i7-14650HX with 8 performance cores and 12 efficiency cores. उसी के साथ you are getting an RTX 4060 with 8GB GDDR6 VRAM and 140W TGP, but the GPU wattage does not go that high. RAM is 16GB DDR5 in one slot and the other one is free. But since it is DDR5 RAM type, so even a single RAM stick will function as a dual channel. You also have a 1TB PCIe Gen 4 SSD and a 16-inch WQXGA display with 165Hz refresh rate. Now, in terms of styling, Lenovo has shaped the laptop's start button like their Legion logo, which is a fairly unique touch. It also changes color whenever you switch modes. The keyboard is a full-size one, complete with a numpad and a slightly separated arrow key section to make it easy for those who want to play racing games on the keyboard. The keyboard is very comfortable to type on and it will remind you of ThinkPad, which is one of the best productivity laptops out there. And since this has an Intel 14th Gen CPU, it also gets a dedicated Copilot key, which lets you use a bunch of AI features. Now, don't get confused. The 14th Gen does not have an NPU. It merely has a deep learning boost for the CPU. The difference between an NPU and DL boost is simple. The deep learning boost is like a special boost for your CPU that helps it perform AI tasks faster, like recognizing pictures or understanding speech. An NPU is like a small additional brain made only for AI tasks, which makes CPU even faster and efficient. Chalo, back to the review. Now the touchpad on this thing is also of a decent size. It isn't as big as you would find in some of the HP gaming laptops, but it isn't as small as you would find on the Dell G series laptops. The hinges movement is also pretty smooth, but it takes a considerable amount of time to come to a halt. I think the hinge needs to be tightened from down below. Like the hinge isn't loose, it just takes some time to settle down. Rest, it can also go all the way back to 180 degrees if that's something you are interested in. Now, in terms of build quality though, I have no complaints. There are no fit and finish issues. The top lid seems to have a little bit of flex, but so does the keyboard deck area. But both of them are solid enough that you won't have any issues with it. and every time you close the lid, it does so with a tight snap. And you can easily lift the lid as well with just one hand. In terms of ports, you have two USB Type-A super speed ports, a micro SD card slot, a physical camera shutter and an Ethernet port on the right side. And two USB Type-C ports, one with 10 gigabit bandwidth and other one with PD charging, a 3.5mm audio jack and a super speed Type-A port on the left side. Out on the back, you have an HDMI 2.1 using which you can power up to 4K 120Hz display and a proprietary charging port as well. Also, I like that these two USB ports are spaced out so that none of the accessories that you connect obstructs the other port. Now, getting inside the laptop is fairly easy. There are just 10 screws. You can easily open them either by a prying tool or just your hands. On the inside, you get one free RAM slot, one free SSD slot, replaceable Wi-Fi card and bolted down battery. So all these components can be replaced, which is how it should be. Also, you get a big chunky heat pipe setup and a dual fan cooling setup as well. In terms of upgradability, I think this laptop scores good marks and the upgrade is fairly easy too. Now, in terms of display, the laptop has a 345 nits peak brightness with 100% sRGB and 75% DCI-P3 coverage, which is suitable for professional grade designing and color correction thanks to its low delta E value of 2.63. The screen has a matte finish for easy indoor use and excellent viewing angles as well. Baki, the display looks very vivid. It showcases punchy colors, but I feel that brightness could have been a bit more. Also, on Lenovo's website, you can configure this laptop with a 500 nits display for just Rs 1250. So I would suggest that you go with that configuration. Now, in terms of speakers, what you have here are dual 2-watt HD stereo speakers, and they aren't too great. They aren't very loud, but they do have clarity. But bad speakers in a gaming laptop seems like a problem which almost no OEM is looking to solve. Here's a sample. Chalo, let's talk benchmarks. In terms of Cinebench R23, you are getting numbers that will remind you of last year's 13700HX found in HP Omen 16, both in multi-core and single core. Because in terms of core count and threads, both these chips are same. Only difference is the slightly higher clock speed on the 14650HX. Next up is 3D Mark's Time Spy and Firestrike, and in that one, this laptop takes the lead against a 13700HX model. Next up is the SSD speed, which is 7162 and 6795 MB per second respectively. And in terms of real world, this is towards the higher end of the PCIe Gen 4 SSD speeds. Chalo, with benchmarks out of the way, now it's time for gaming. Firstly, we have the Dirt 5 and I am running the game at high settings at 1600p resolution, and as you can see, I am getting close to 97 FPS on average. There is no lag or stuttering at all, and the whole thing is running very smoothly. Next up, we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and we can see how it performs with the DLSS and also without DLSS. The graphics here again are set to high and the resolution is 1600p, and you can see we are getting 137 FPS and 105 FPS respectively, without any glitches or issues. Up next is Cyberpunk 2077, and here too we are testing the game both with DLSS on and off. And without it, you can see what kind of FPS we are actually getting. Up next is Gears 5. In this one, we have no DLSS, so we are getting 106 FPS at 1600p resolution. Next up, we have AC Valhalla, and here you can see we are getting 108 FPS respectively. Lastly, here's a comparison of this laptop with last year's 13700HX HP Omen 16, and you can see how the 14650HX beats the 13700HX in total real world performance. So, in conclusion, I can easily put this laptop as one of the top ones in terms of design, build quality, keyboard, trackpad and portability. But in its current configuration, it will lose out in terms of raw performance, specs and display against the Acer Predator Helios. But just by spending 4,700 rupees more, you can upgrade to 14700HX in your current build, and then you will have the same CPU GPU setup as the Helios Neo 16, and you will also save a couple of thousand rupees. Go to Lenovo's website and buy it from there. So that was it for the video. My name is Yatnesh Dubey and I will see you guys next time.